some meeting norms. I'm on a meeting. Okay, please respect everyone. We are here for the children, no personal agendas. We will answer questions at the end of each report if time allows. Due to time allowed for each section, all questions may not get answered in this forum. Please use the parking lot in the chat. We don't have a board. We will run the agenda as printed. Any questions or comments outside of the printed agenda or the digital agenda must be submitted by noon of the meeting and be waited until public comments. We will use the hand raise sign or raise your hand in order to be recognized. Remember, we are here for the children. Thank you. Now we'll have our roll call and quorum.
Okay, hi everybody. Angela Hanks Afton, Maria Martinez Bayless.
I'm here.
Hi Maria. Let's see. Okay, Christina Blankenship Clayton.
She's excused.
Okay. Latoya Nelson Ferguson Florissant. Cassandra Brown Ferguson Florissant. Erica Henderson Ferguson Florissant. Denise Bursey Ferguson Florissant. Monique Hines Smith Hazelwood. Natasha Anderson Wright Jennings. Mary Fitzgerald Kirkwood.
Here.
Hi, Mary. Okay, Ellen Reed Kirkwood.
Here.
Hi. Brooke Sihi Ledoux.
Here.
Okay. Jenna Lee Blackwood Lindbergh. Bridget Wildshoots Litzinger.
I'm here.
Hi, Bridget.
Hi.
Kim Gifford Maplewood Richmond Heights.
I'm here.
Okay. Mary Mackler Maplewood Richmond Heights. Latricia Clark Normandy. Fern Scott Normandy. I'm here. Shauna Barton Parkway. Krista Goldman Parkway. Ashley Jameson Parkway. Dr. Carter's here. Carrie Ellis Pattonville. Rob Eaton Rittner. Rebecca Fleeg Rockwood.
Here.
Hi, Rebecca. Holly Tinker Rockwood.
Here.
Denise Francis Southview. Is that a here?
Call her name again.
Denise Francis. No, I don't think so. I think it was just a bleep. And Shanna Rudolph Valley Park. Nope.
You need to come over here and do this math.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. I'm sorry. Y'all heard me. It's been a rough day. I have a twin, a real one. All right. Moving forward. I need an approval of do we have a quorum?
Yes.
Wonderful. We need an approval of the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
This is Ellen. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
May I have a second?
This is
This is
Rebecca.
Holly Tinker. Oh, go ahead, Rebecca.
Go, Holly.
This is Holly from Rockwood. I second.
It has been moved in second to accept the agenda as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstain? All right, moving forward. Great job, guys. We need approval of the February minutes. Are there any questions about well, we have to put the motion on the floor. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for February?
This is Bridget Wildschutz. I motion.
All right, may I have a second?
Yeah,
This is Kim, I
Kim.
second.
Okay, are there any questions about the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor of accepting the minutes as written, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, hearing none. Any abstain? Awesome. Moving forward. All right, we have to vote new members. New members must be present. We also have renewal members. If you are here and you would like to join the PAC, Melissa is putting in the chat at the present time the PAC nomination. You cannot be voted in the same time you put it in. You will have to wait till next month. So if you are wanting to be a part of the PAC and you're here tonight, please just fill out the form for next time. And then in May, we will vote you in if you are a new member. Renewal members, we have to do it this month. So, oh, I didn't mean to pop. I'm sorry. That was rude. The following people are, and I didn't put, I'm sorry, y'all. I've been having technical difficulties all day. Erica Essom is of Ferguson Florissant. Is she here? Maria Martinez is of
Yes, I'm here.
what district? I'm sorry, I'm gonna say Hancock Place.
Bayless.
What district are you?
Bayless.
Bailey. Okay. Holly Tinker, Rockwood. These are all renewals. They automatically renew. Maria Martinez, Bayless, Holly Tinker, Rockwood, Ellen Reed, Kirkwood, Kim Gifford, Maplewood, Richmond Heights.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, good. All right, Mary Fitzgerald, Kirkwood, Kamisha Carter, where am I? Pattonville, Casey Mills, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
What district?
Rockwood.
Rockwood, you will be voted in. So we do have to do a vote in. And Ellen Reed is a renewal. May I have a motion on the floor to vote in new member Casey Mills?
Latricia Clark, I move that we vote in our new member, Casey Mills.
May I have a second?
This is Maria Martinez. I'll second.
It has been moved in second to vote in Casey Mills as a new PAC member. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none. Any abstain? Hearing none. Welcome to the fold, Casey. All right, now, Casey, we do have nominations, but you because you just were voted in, you can't officially be nominated until May, okay? For any of the positions. And it's in the bylaws. If you need a copy of them, we'll make sure we give you a copy of those. All right.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Nominations for executive committee. All positions are open and we have no one nominated at this time. The nominations are now, I need a motion to open nominations from the floor. May I have that motion, please?
Patricia Clark, I move that we open nominations for the floor for the executive committee.
May I have a second, please?
It's
This
Ellen
is
Green.
Kim. Oh, sorry, Ellen, you go this time.
We'll take turns. I second the nomination.
Okay,
no.
it has been moved and second. The nominations are now open. We do not have to vote. We only vote to close. We don't even vote to close them. All right, the nominations have been open from the floor. We're going to start with parliamentarian. Our parliamentarian cannot run again because her son graduates this year, so we have an opening for parliamentarian. Is there any nominations for parliamentarian?
I would like to nominate Deanna Davis Day.
She cannot be nominated because she's not a member as of yet.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Any other nominations? All right, for correspondence secretary. Oh, the floor is open for correspondence secretary. Any nominations for correspondence secretary? Hearing none. Recording secretary. Are there any nominations for recording secretary? Our correspondent, let me back up. Our correspondence secretary is working and working with her child, so she needs to focus more on her child. So that's why that position is open and she's not running again. I didn't run anybody off. It's just that people got life. All right, so for recording secretary, our recording secretary, her child is about to age out of the program, so she can no longer be a part of the PAC. So recording secretary. Any nominations for recording secretary?
Yeah, and if you want to do it, I'll help you. I'll show you how to do it. It's
Oh,
like,
she's phenomenal.
yeah, the first time or two is kind of, but after that, it's fine. It's really interesting. You get to see how it all works, and it's really not that bad. It's like maybe 4 or 5 hours a month at the most, maybe.
Dr. Carter, as a parliamentarian, I also want to make a note for anyone that's on the call that even if you're not a parent, if you are a guardian, or if you oversee in a parental relationship with a student that's in your district, that will still qualify you as well.
Absolutely.
I could do that.
Who is I can do that?
Oh, this is Brooke Stahey.
What district, Brooke?
I'm with Ladue.
All right.
Do you want to do parliamentarian?
Parliamentarian or no, we were
Recording
on recording secretary.
I could do the recording secretary.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
Now we got one half of the team that it makes
Yeah.
it mandatory for someone, for the PAC to stay alive. We need someone to do it to make the PAC stay alive. All right, first vice president. Our current vice president, not first vice president, our current vice president is now on, well, has been on the Rittner School Board, but now has been officially elected on the Rittner School Board, so he can no longer serve as the VPS of the SSD PAC because, oh, what is it? I can't think. Not mutually exclusive. He'll be double dipping. Let me just say that. He'll double dip. That's what I can't think of the word. I was trying to be intelligent at that time. Anyone for vice president? Okay. Nominations for president. As stated earlier, I am not running anymore. My life is taking a different turn, and I need to focus more on what's ahead of me. And we will have a good transition meeting. We need a president. So the nominations stay open until the May candidate speeches. Brooke, talk to Melissa and work through your speech. Each person gets a minute and 30 seconds to speak at the May meeting, and then we will take a vote. Okay. At this time, the wrong one. We'll have our superintendent report. Now I will stop sharing, Wendy, so you can.
Hi, everybody. Can you all hear me? Yeah, great. So here's a quick report, and then Wendy will take over in terms of more additional updates. So we are starting to go into the season of graduation. So we have a lot of our SSD schools graduations with our North Tech, with our new owner, with Northview, Southview. And we also have our 8th grade graduations, which will be happening at Ackerman, Litzinger, and also Southview. So we really do appreciate all of the progress our students are making, and we want to make sure that we're supporting our students. And so we're looking forward to this end of the school year in terms of a highlight with our graduations. We are also really planning going forward for next year. We're already in that the deep state of thinking in terms of what we're going to do with for professional development for our staff when they're coming back in August. Hate to think that we're already talking about that, but we have to plan always about 3 to 6 months ahead of time. So we are really working on that as a team, and really making sure that we're ready to go when our staff come back in July and August. We are also making sure that we are ending on a good note with all of our students and making sure that their IEPs are up to date in terms of if you have an IEP going into September and October, we're wanting to make sure that we have those done prior to that. We do have some cases where we are not going to be doing the IEP if it is in September or October, if you have the same case manager, but we're trying to make sure that we're making the IEP process, and especially when we are having students transition to a new case manager that they don't know as well, that we want to end on a good note, so that we're trying to encourage to make sure that our staff are able to do the IEPs and finish those up, especially if they're due in September and before October 1st. Other than that, we are, just continuing with all the events. We have quite a few events that are going on for celebrations in our schools. We and just some fun activities for our students to be able to participate in as we go into the spring of the year. And we really want to make sure that we are ending on a good note. And when thinking in terms of as families, we're always here to make sure that we're supporting that IEP process. And our FACE team is always here to answer questions, to support as families have questions going into the end of the school year, even into the beginning of the school year. Updates also with ESY. So ESY and summer school programming, we're continuing to hire for our staff for those, and communication should be going out to inform families about when your ESY is going to be starting and the times, and also when summer school participation. We were trying to make sure that we gave the dates out early enough so that if parents were planning for camps over the summer, that we have opportunities to give those dates out prior to that. So that parents can plan accordingly. So as we start to think about the end of the school year, let's make sure that if you haven't heard from your case managers talking about the IEP and the notification around the ESY, it is a requirement. Also, it has to demonstrate students needing those services. So working with your case manager is absolutely important for that. So one more thing, I really hope that we have people really stepping up and supporting their PAC. We think that the PAC is so important for us to communicate with our families. Dr. Carty, you've done a wonderful job over the last 2 years, and I really do appreciate all the work you've done with it and working directly with us and helping us understand the needs and communications and how we can improve the process for our families. So, we're looking forward to working with our next president and vice president as we transition into that. But I think that, it is so important to have this group of parents to be able to, be informed, to be able to support, to help answer questions, and that it really truly is that need for us to be able to continue. So I hope that, I know that everybody's busy, but I hope that we have somebody that is willing to step into those shoes that Dr. Carter is going to be leaving empty after this year. And so we think that, I just really want to, work with anybody. We want to work with anybody who's going to be stepping into that, and we will assist in the process. We don't want to make it too time consuming, but we also make sure that it's very driven by the parents and all of you and families to make sure that we're being able to partner with you. So continuing this and keep going forward, it'd be really, really great. So please, I hope somebody considers it for our next meeting, but we know that we don't want to be too intimidating with it. We are here to help and assist with the process. So thank you, Dr. Carter.
Thank you, Dr. Keenan. So legislative updates. Hi, everyone. I'm Wendy Pendergrass. I totally agree with what Dr. Keenan just stated. Dr. Carter, you will be missed, as well as your executive team. But I look forward to working with the new staff that we have coming on board. I wanted to update you. We have a few things to cover this evening. First would be the legislative update. Then we'll have the update from Jen Frisbee, which is our director of autism. We will also have an update from our professional learning department, which will be Tina Makashe and Wendy Owens. And then we'll wrap that up with our FACE with Adrienne Eaglin and Latrice Morgan. But first, let me talk about, there's 6 weeks left on the legislative floor. Some of the things that have the House has passed is the budget. So the Missouri House has approved the budget. They are looking at funding really specifically. What impacts us is the child care subsidies, libraries, bills relating to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And if you click on, I will send Dr. Carter this PowerPoint presentation. If you click on those links, that will take you directly to the more information where it goes in depth, because there is a DEI debate that is happening right now on our floor in Jefferson City, where it gets if this bill passes, that districts will no longer be able to support or provide professional development funding, staff, any incentives for staff to participate in any DEI professional development or activities. So that is a lot of concern for a lot of our districts, considering all of the work that we've done with our department with DEIA, the numerous awards that they have received because of that, and then also working with companies that also support any DEIA work. So I ask you to get in and get involved and write your representatives to support the work that we're doing in the district. Next, we will have Jen Frisbee.
Hi, I'm Jenny Frisbee. I am the director for the Applied Behavior Analysis Division with Special School District. And first, I'm going to give you some updates from, I think there's maybe a slide one back. Nope, that's it. Okay. First, I wanted to give you some updates from the Autism Advisory Council that we have twice a year. At the last meeting, we did reference some of the work that's going on with the Missouri Commission on Autism Spectrum Disorder at the state level, and that's through the Division of Developmental Disabilities. I did note here a link in case you were interested in looking into some of the work that they're doing. Currently, they are closing up some of the work on transition to adulthood for individuals across the state. So that would be something that would probably be great to look into a little bit more, as they will have 4 different areas that they report back to the state on for best practices. At our meeting, we also had shout outs from the ABA division, the Autism Effective Practice Specialists, talked a little bit about the work that they've been doing, and Family and Community Engagement also spoke about their work, which you'll hear a little bit more about tonight. We did also have Jeff Schneider from Transition present a little bit about what that group is doing to help support students as they transition. And he focused a lot on charting the life course. We do have some upcoming meetings that families are welcome to join. Those are in person, usually from 5 to 7 p.m. up at central office in the boardroom. And our next meetings are on the 26th of October and the 22nd of February next school year. I spoke a little bit to you a while back about some of the activities that my division has been working on. So we can go to the next slide and look at those. Registered behavior technicians are a new position that the district is looking at hiring into this year. We're looking at building capacity over this year into next school year so that we have that certified individual providing those direct ABA services that are written into the IEP. We are currently hiring into that position. Hiring requires that those individuals become certified at a national level, which entails doing a 40-hour training, competency assessment through a board certified behavior analyst here at Special School District, or previously if they had the certification before, and then a Pearson exam online. We are currently at 125 fully hired positions for this school year, and we have 54 individuals who are pending certification and then recommendation to the board. And then just noted for our groups, we do have paraprofessionals that will continue to provide some of those services as we build capacity. Some other things that we have been working on as a division, we've had a pretty robust year for professional learning. We have been tailoring the ongoing professional learning for that new registered behavior technician position and do have an additional strand for them moving into next school year. All of our staff have received training on some of the systems that we use, like Therapy Log for tracking services, Catalyst for collecting data, and of course, nonviolent crisis intervention. We do have behavior analysts that have been focusing on acceptance and commitment therapy as a potential resource for the students and families that they're serving. We have this first semester worked on supervision and mentorship. And then the second semester, we're focusing more on multiculturalism and diversity in collaboration with our DEIA department. Dr. Diggs has been great to work with that. This May, we're going to have our yearly suicide prevention training, question, persuade, and refer. We can go to the next. And I probably spoke a little bit to this group earlier. We have a new entrance and exit grid that we've been working on. This is basically the grid that we look at for what skills we want to focus on in the educational setting. It also serves as a summative evaluation each year for progress that students are making with our services. So we did just finish up our first pilot of the new grid. We can move on to the next one. And then just a couple weeks ago, our yearly stakeholder survey went out. So if you work with us as a division, we would love to get some feedback from you about how we are doing. All of that feedback is then taken. It's given to the individual ABA coordinators that oversee different areas across the district. And we use that to develop goals going into next school year for both the division, each area, and then any individuals in the division. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Ms. Frisbee. Next, we have Tina Makashe and Dr. Wendy Owens.
Hey, Wendy, there is a question, it looks like, from Latoya.
Could you possibly read that? I don't have that up.
She just has her hand up, her emoji hand.
Is it okay if I ask my question?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I was wondering, I got the model that you said that you all have been piloting. Is it possible to plug something in? Because what I'm seeing, and some of the feedback from some of the parents, the tiers in the ABA sector of our students. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. I'm not going to take too much of your time, but I would like to get your information so I can kind of go into detail concerning that. Thank you for your presentation.
Are you asking for Ms. Frisbee's information so you can talk to her?
That is correct.
Absolutely. I will forward that on to you. I will forward it on to Dr. Carter or Ms. Latoya, if you can send me an email or put your information in the chat, I will copy that and make sure that Ms. Frisbee reaches out to you.
I guess that's a big 10-4. Okay.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Tina Makshay. I'm the Director of Professional Learning and joined here this evening by Dr. Owens as our Assistant Director. And what we will share with you tonight is just an overview of the professional learning that we've provided to staff this year, as well as some trends that have occurred throughout the school year. As you might imagine, our primary purpose is to diversify professional learning for all educators so that they have the knowledge and skills to improve outcomes for students. And we do that through a variety of professional learning methods, whether that be a blended learning, in person, so that we can provide collaborative, intensive experiences, as well as tiered job embedded support. So some of that coaching, observation, and feedback to staff as well. Our purpose also is to provide professional learning that is aligned to and a significant part of addressing some of the goals within the Comprehensive School Improvement Plan, both for SSD and within our partner districts.
Next slide, please. So the following is an overview of the professional learning that we provided this school year. So as you can see, since July of 2022, we have offered 964 events. And attendance as staff reported that was 11,345. So some of those events included specific training in the areas of literacy, math, and socio-emotional learning, as well as autism. That may have been specific training around programs, as well as support in those areas. Multi-tier system of support, MTSS, was another event where trainings were provided, as well as NCI, nonviolent crisis intervention, and then our induction program for our new teachers, and that would be inclusive of year 1, 2, and 3, and those strands supporting autism programming, as well as socio-emotional behavior programming. As well, we've had events supporting our new paraprofessionals in years 1 through 3.
So how we go about just making decisions on what professional learning to provide. All of our professional learning is aligned to those interventions and programs that are outlined in the literacy resource guide, the math resource guide, and the social emotional learning resource guide. And all these are linked in the presentation. So as Wendy shares that, you would be able to access those guides, and they're also posted on our SSD website as well. So as that guides what SSD trains and supports, our partner district directors and leadership are then able to guide their professional learning plans aligned to their specific tiered integrated models. So that's one approach. We also have recently completed another round of needs assessments for both paraprofessionals and our teacher level staff. So combined, that is how we make those determinations on what we provide throughout the school year.
And so again, this is not an exhaustive list, but some trends in professional learning that we have noted for this school year. And literacy, that training, as you can see, some of that foundational training was in keys to beginning reading, step up to writing, SIPs, which is systematic instruction and phonemic awareness and phonics and sight words, unique learning systems, corrective reading, and Wilson. And math or numeracy will start at that foundational level. Numbers was a training that we've supported this school year and will continue to support. Number worlds, focus math, early numeracy, and corrective math. And then moving into social emotional learning, our foundational learning is rooted in CASEL standards that is also aligned to our SCB quality indicators. And then our EPSs and other professional learning staff have been supportive of teachers as well as administrators through the district cohorts, as well as the problem-solving process. Calm Classrooms is a program that we have seen trends in this school year, as well as PASS and Emoji and Why Try.
We also wanted to ensure that you have access to our professional learning guide. Within the guide, it shares with you the countywide professional learning that we are providing, as well as when we are asked to provide specific in-district training. Those are included within the guide. And then we are also have some on-demand learning series for those different areas that we've discussed this evening, as well as we are just getting started with developing a badging system where folks can add some micro credentials to their suite of professional learning as well. So again, just invite you to check that out as you would like to learn a little bit more about the professional learning that's provided across the district. And with that, we'd be happy to address any questions that you might have regarding professional learning.
Okay.
Tina, when Melissa Upchurch has a question. Sorry, Dr. Carter.
That's okay. I have like 3 questions and really good presentation. So thank you for doing that. I want to look into this more, even though my son's getting ready to be done. I'm still just really interested in this. One quick question is, what is an EPS?
An EPS is an effective practice specialist. And so those will be those specialists that are supporting staff in the area of autism and social emotional learning.
Okay. And then 2, and you may have said this and I just didn't understand it. Is this learning all just for SSD employees, or does it cross over to where you're sharing it with partner district employees?
Certainly inclusive of gen ed staff as well. I would say most of the learning is completed by special school district staff, but it's also inclusive of our gen ed colleagues and partners in our county districts.
Do they like reach out to you for it, kind of like the parents reach out for resources? Or I was wondering if I was to encourage the partner district.
I think a lot of that happens through collaboration and conversations with SPED administrators and gen ed colleagues and teachers. For example, if they are co-teaching in a specific area or district, that would be one that is supportive of gen ed teachers and special ed teachers completing a training or program collectively, if you will. So it can definitely happen through the gen ed staff reaching out to us as a district, but also through that collaboration and communication that happens with that partnership.
Okay. And then my last question is, and it may be in here and I didn't see it, but where would students that use communication devices and how that's integrated into education, where would that fit in?
That is also professional learning that's offered through our assistive tech department, if you will. So that is not inclusive in this data, but we certainly could share that information if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, I think for me, my son has cerebral palsy and I've seen it as kind of a gap. It seems like it sits over here and there's a lot of expertise, but it's not really integrated within education. It's like, this is speech and assistive technology, but I would love to see it more where the SSD teachers and the gen ed teachers are more familiar with it, so they are integrating it in education too.
Absolutely.
Not just as a speech tool.
for certain. Ms.
Yeah.
Pendergrass, if you want, I don't know, I can make a note to reach out to that department and perhaps they can share what training has looked like this school year for their.
I think that would be a great idea, Dr. Owens.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the questions.
We have Mayor Fitzgerald with a question. Go ahead, Mayor.
Yeah, I have a question about anti-bullying training. So students with disabilities are a lot higher risk and are targets often of bullying and harassment. And I found that in our experience that teachers are not trained to recognize and help students who are experiencing that. So I'm wondering what specific training you have for all staff, SSD staff regarding that. And then, I mean, one kind of training is called upstander training that also includes, you know, how to stand up for students, but also includes for students how to stand up for each other. And so that's a two-part question, training for staff, but also what do you have available for students to learn how to respond, recognize, respond to bullying and harassment, and then support their peers.
If I'm not mistaken, I would certainly would defer to Ms. Pendergrass and Ms. Moore. That is likely professional learning or training that's supported by our partner district, the Gen Ed staff. And so I can't readily speak to, you know, the name of that training and what it might look like. But if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that partner districts provide training in the areas of bullying and anti-bullying to support all staff. So that would be inclusive of special ed and gen ed staff. Ms. Pendergrass, is that pretty accurate?
So
You are
do you
absolutely-
have anything that's just, so then you're relying on partner districts to communicate that really important piece about disability, which is tends to be their biggest blind spot. So SSD is not doing that. It's partner districts that are doing that.
Ms. Fitzgerald, so what we do is we partner with our partner district and we really take the guidelines of what they're doing to support bullying and that in that particular district as we support 22 different districts. We also want to look at the professional development plans that the partner district has in line for what they're teaching their staff as well as ours, because what we want to do is partner in our professional development. If you're looking for specific programming, as always, when it comes to special education or disabilities, that is something that we would definitely look to and provide support for. If there's a particular disability that the district needed support in or identifying, I would also defer to Ms. Moore if she's available to kind of also talk to that. But if there's something particular that you're looking for, Ms. Fitzgerald, always reach out to myself or Ms. Moore.
And I'll just add to that. I certainly wouldn't mind gathering some more information, but even with our autism effective practice specialist, I don't think they have specific training on bullying. However, there's some components that support the interactions of students who may have autism or on the autism spectrum as it relates to their non-disabled peers. So, you know, as Ms. Pendergrass stated, it's a collaborative effort, if you will. We support our partner districts in the efforts to support staff in that area.
Yeah, I have reached out to both our partner district and SSD, and it's just, thank you for your comments. And then we have, you know, this standard training, and then it's crickets. I'm not, you know, and it's been 6 years of my kid getting harassed and bullied within the first month of school every year. And now he's not even in the building because he doesn't feel safe. So, and that's not just my son. I just feel like, more needs to be done. Especially, because there's a high rate of suicidal thought and suicide with our guys. So, I mean, it's a very real and it's a very serious situation. And I just feel like when I go to your website, the SSD website, when I go to my district website, there's really nothing there on there for parents either. For us to know how to handle this and what to do. So I just feel like if we all saw this kind of like COVID, on how it affects all of our children and can affect all of our children, that when we would be more intentional about working together and having this is part of our mission, to support all students, who are being harassed and bullied. So, I appreciate your responses though. Thank you.
Yeah. Ms. Fitzgerald, one thing I'd like to add too, and actually with FACE coming up, they can talk the family and community engagement. They just recently did highlights in the director's newsletters that went out, as well as added some resources specifically on bullying with students with disabilities to our website. So Adrienne and Latrice, in your report, if you could just highlight those resources and where they might find those, that would be great.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello, my name is Latrice Margaret. And Adrienne Eaglin is also on the line this evening. Want to give quick updates about our programs and services in our division. The first thing we want to share with you all is about Family Leadership Institute. And I'm not sure if we have anyone brand new on the call. But want you to know that this is it is a series of learning for our families, and our first event will be held April the 19th. At this time, our application receiving new applications is closed, but as you can see here that we have 32 active applications that cover a range of 13 partner districts and 3 from our SSD schools and programs. And so we're very excited about moving forward and working with our families to further develop their skills in becoming leaders. And perhaps one day they may become PAC members and be seated here advocating for and learning new skills to support other parents district-wide. Next slide. So on our next slide here, it is about the SSD PAC toolkit. And this was one of our follow-ups from an earlier presentation where we shared out that this was the work that we had underway. So as you see here on the screen, there is there's a QR code. If you like, you can take your phone and place it up to the screen, and you will be able to gain some rich, vital assets in this guide. So this information here is what we're using in our partner districts to help with even getting those local PACs started. Next slide. Okay, and so here we're talking about the opportunities that are available for family, staff, and community. We have workshops that are still yet available on our SSD YouTube channel. And you are welcome to access those at your leisure. If there are specific workshops and events that you would like information on, feel free to give us a call and we'll be able to share that information with you. The next event that we have is the Family Cafe. This is facilitated at North Technical High School in the library. The next one is scheduled for April the 27th, and it is facilitated for 2 hours from 6 to 8 p.m. And the last piece of information here is about our virtual learning opportunities. We have a lunch and learn that is facilitated for half an hour. And the next guest that we will have is NAMI. National Association of Mental Illness, and they will be on deck April 26th. And FACE will conclude the school year with the lunch and learn about summer engagement for youth. And that will be on May the 24th. Next slide. Okay, community outreach efforts. The Family Resource Hub, again, at North Tech High School. We would have to pause here and say thank you so much for the school allowing us to have space to facilitate various events. And you will see here that there is a satellite food pantry that is on site, and it is open to all Tuesdays and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we want to make a special note here that we will only operate on those days with appointments only. So please make certain to get that information out. CASEL, or the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County, they also come into the hub, and they do on-hand applications. And they will be there again April the 14th, and that is from 9 a.m. to noon. And last but not least is the Higher Education Consortium. They will be there on April the 18th for a lunch hour from 11 to 12. And they are there to help with applications for advanced learning for college. And so if you have any questions about any of those things, feel free again to give us a call in the program. Next slide. What questions might you have for me about what we have going on in FACE? No questions? Okay, well, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, SSD. And y'all just won't make me cry tonight. I love y'all each, and I'm not gone. I will still be a PAC representative for Pattonville. So you still got me, just in a different entity. With that being said, any of my students that are on the line, you can leave now at 8 o'clock. PAC business. I am putting a survey in the PAC in the chat for only PAC representatives. I need you to fill this out now. What we are doing is we have sent a survey out to the superintendents and the directors of the 3 career and technical schools, the 22 partnering districts, and we have sent this survey out to them. My preliminary findings are only 7 people from the 22 partner districts, and Dr. Grisby, I still haven't gotten yours yet, have not only have sent it received. We've only received a survey back, and that was sent out to superintendents and board presidents, and it was sent out twice. So it's not like, oh, it got lost in email. No, but I sent it out twice. Also, I sent it out to y'all. This is my 4th time sending it to you guys. We need this data. Why do we need this data? We can talk all day long about what's not being done, what is being done, and nothing happens. People like numbers, people like visuals, people like things that they can see. So hence the report that will be presented next month. Hi, Rebecca, go ahead with your question.
Hi, Dr. Carter. I don't know if anyone else had this problem, but your questions in the survey were unclear. What table are you referring to? There wasn't any kind of context to help me understand what you're asking. So maybe if you clarify a little bit, the actual questions, other people could answer it as well.
No, at the beginning of the year, we have had this, we've been talking about the 4 points all year, that we're talking about parents' voice, That's also in there. And we're talking about equity of understanding. We're asking you as a parent, do you understand that? Quality, Melissa, pull that up for me. Quality of understanding. Do you see it? If you don't see it, that's not implemented. What we're looking for, if you see it in your district, do you see that in Rockwood? No, you don't. So yours should be no all the way down, or not fully implemented, or the whatever it is. So basically, we've been talking about this. We've talked about it with Chief Moore. We've talked about it. I've sent the survey out to Dr. Keenan and all them. So it's pretty clear. And if you did have a question, y'all had all of March to come talk to me. I've been available. Moving forward. So please fill it out now. I'm here to rally your questions. Myself, Melissa, and Latricia are all here to rally your questions. So please do that now. Also, we again need people to run for the other offices. Please, 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 ma'am. Please, 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 ma'am, because we don't have any sirs anymore. We lost our one. Melissa, am I missing anything?
So there's no public comments.
So give you a few minutes to fill this out. I will stay on for any questions from the PAC person, PAC representatives. If there is not any other question or questions, please. Hi, Holly. Come on. Come on, Holly.
Sorry, I was on mute. Question.
Sure.
What is there, like, I don't want to say a job description, but like a resource to look at, like if we're interested in volunteering, like time commitment and what that looks like for each of the roles that haven't been filled for the PAC?
Yes, ma'am. We sent out the bylaws in March, but we'll Melissa and I make sure that the bylaws will be sent out again.
Okay.
Basically, it all depends on what your agenda. If you are the president, depending on what your agenda is. My agenda was for change and becoming more of a collaborative partner than I got you partner. And y'all doing something wrong. I wanted to build relationships and partnerships with SSD and the partnering districts. So my tenure took more time. It all depends on the vision that you were looking at. The first year we worked on understanding what it is to be a SSD parent. So we our theme was student success and then the SSD. This year we're realizing that SSD only has a stopping point, right?
Right.
Our children are children of the partnering district, but they receive services from SSD, right? So now we needed to start focusing our attention to the partnering districts and the inconsistencies and the inadequacies and the gaps that are there. Hence the unity, understanding the IEP. I don't have that in front of me, but parents' voice at the table. I was talking to Barry Nelson of Pattonville. He said, Dr. Carter, you know what? You're right. We didn't think about children who are in extra large wheelchairs. We didn't think about children who are blind. We didn't think about children who were deaf. And me and Dee Barnes was sitting up there. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, parents' voice at the table when you're doing construction work on buildings, because they always passing a bond issue and they always want our tax money unless it's a non-tax bond, but we have no conversation. Bridget Wild-Schutz is a proponent of making sure that children who go to CTE schools, go to SSD schools are included in partnering school activities. It is so much that we as our children are not getting because we're not solid and we don't have data to prove what they're doing. So my tenure as president was a lot. I wrote in the spotlight every month for the last 2 years, and I was too lengthy, so they shortened me down to like 5 sentences. And then I because of life search situations and circumstances, I had to help my correspondence secretary get a lot of the information out this year. Our first year was a bugaboo. We got hit with a sunshine law. It's not even an indictment, but we got hit with a sunshine law inquiry. And we had to do that. So that took a lot of time because we had to pull documents from the beginning of the year. So my tenure looked like it was a lot, but it really wasn't. It's just I was a little bit more focused on getting some things done, changing the focus of our group, making sure that we have enough equity in our current group, that we are respected and represented at the table. For the first vice president under my administration, that person was the person to go to all the extra meetings. Whoever comes next, they have a couple of meetings with equity, not equity. I can't think. Latricia, what is the name of that meeting y'all go to?
Which one, Dr. Carter?
Y'all have so many.
I know.
The one with Dr. Keenan and Keisha Lee and all the Dr. Keenan, what is the name of that meeting? I'm sorry.
So that was that, Dr. Carter, that was the group that, because of our governing council and the PRC, you're right, we created a group that meets 4 times a year where we collaboratively talk between our governing council representatives, our board meeting representatives, and then the leadership that is at special school districts. So that would be 4 times a year.
That part. Thank you guys, because I'm drawing blanks. Also, when the PRC comes around under this administration, that was the vice president's main job. Recording secretary, Melissa makes it look effortless, but the recording secretary is also the keeper of records. That person is responsible for keeping the records. Melissa said it takes her anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a month. Correspondence secretaries make sure you get all the information. Now, Bridget, how many hours do you think? And not with my crazy schedule, because somebody may not be sending emails at 3 o'clock in the morning. So Bridget, what do you think is the time constraint for correspondence secretary?
I would definitely say it varies on what's going on for sure. Just kind of like what you said. I think last year was a lot more time intensive because there was just so many additional things going on, and there was just more need for communication amongst the executive committee. But a lot of it is just, if you keep up with things like as you go, then it's not so overwhelming at once. Like it's like, making sure you're responding to emails that come in. Also, just following up with communication, making sure the newsletter is getting out. I mean, I think if you manage your time pretty well, it wouldn't be as time intensive. Again, I think a lot of it has to do with what the goal and the focus is for the PAC and how much time, you can put into it.
Thank you, Love Book. Parliamentarian, do you want to give our, that person has to know the rules, Robert Rules of Order in our bylaws. Latricia?
Yeah, making sure you know Robert Rules of Order, and making sure you're familiar with our bylaws, making you on point as it relates to policy and procedure, and as a representative of the PAC, and then also as a representative if you're serving in a dual capacity in a partner district, to help ensure that the parents and the children's rights are also being upheld. So That's about it.
All right. And Maria, to answer your question, it all depends on the administration. I am that parent that if you send me one more email about the same stuff, but I had to have quorum tonight to make sure that we are on and everybody hears the same information. So yeah, you only get an email once a month, and that's to give you the previous month minutes so you can get more information up front. So when we get to meeting, we don't have time, we don't have to read all the minutes and then say, oh, fix this. You already have all the information there to fix the information.
Yeah, and then, I was
Oh,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
also, Dr. Carter, also if there's something that you will want on the agenda, so while you're getting the previous month's minutes, if there is something you want to add to the agenda, you will reach out to the president or the vice president, discuss what those parameters are, and then seek to get that item added to the agenda for the coming month agenda, if that was your question, Martinez.
Also, at the beginning of the year, we look at everything we discussed, what we had the most attendance on, minus visitors, and those are called our hot topics. In the month of February, we had behavior intervention plans. That was the hottest topic I ever had in the last 2 years. So, wow, know that you need to do that again, maybe early on. So, I mean, the questions just come, it was like rapid fire, you know? So that's something someone coming in may need to look at. And trust me, I am not the person who say, here, girl, here, all this stuff, I'm gone. I will make sure I walk you through what you need to do each month. I'll make sure you have all your contacts, who you need to contact. I will introduce you to the people that you need to be introduced to, making sure that you have a real sure footing as president, recording president, vice president, recording secretary. Melissa has that. Correspondence secretary. I probably double team you with Bridget, with triple team Bridget, Denise, and Christina. And parliamentarian, we have a great parliamentarian, her son graduating. So ditto for the parliamentarian. So that's all for PAC business. If you have any further questions about the survey PAC representatives, please, ma'am, please, sir. I mean, please, ma'am, we don't have any sirs anymore. Please, ma'am, please let me know. And if not, may I have a motion to adjourn at 8:13?
Latricia Clark, I move that we adjourn the meeting at 8:13.
May I have a second?
This is Kim. I second it.
Which I really need Kim to finish school so she can come on be the president. That was my comment and question on the floor. She or Ellen or Mary would be fantastic as president. I know, but Ellen has very, very busy children. So without any further ado, all in favor of ending the meeting at 8:13 p.m. Say
Hi.
Aye.
any opposed? I'm gonna stay on a few minutes for those of you who have questions about the survey, and we are adjourned. Good night, everyone. Love y'all. See you later, family. Bye-bye. Well, it's just me and the big wigs. Bye-bye.
Hey, Kamisha, I did fill out the survey, but it's under my Gmail account, my personal one, because the SSD one had the cookies thing on it, wouldn't let me do it, so.
But it wasn't for you. It was for Dr. Crispy. You over everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. But we'll accept your answer though.
I'll make sure that she gets it as well.
Okay, well, you guys filled out the parent one. We need you to fill out the partner with district one.
Yeah, I think that might be a little bit better. Do you want to forward that other one to us again? Yeah,
I sure will if you give
because
me.
the one
Dr.
with
Carter.
the parent one
Right,
was,
I only received one.
yeah, I only received the parent one and I'm like, it's hard to fill it out
Right.
because it's talking about least restrictive environment for my kid. And I'm like, oh, I can't.
Right.
So it's not really accurate for,
For administrators, yes, ma'am.
yeah.
I get it. I get it. Let me see what I do.
Yeah, if you want to send it to me, Dr. Carter, I'll get them to Dr. Keenan or Dr. Moore, Miss Moore, for partner
But it was
district
only
and
supposed to go
And
to
Dr.
Dr.
Grigsby
Grigsby
too.
Dr.
because
Grigsby. Yep.
it's only for the superintendents of schools. Dr.
Oh,
Grigsby
okay.
over everybody. And I sent it to, I did not send it to anybody on you guys' board. That's what I did not do. So, and that would be Dr. Coolio, or who's the president now?
Katie Potroff.
Okay. So Wendy, if you can send it to both of them.
Okay. And then did you send it to Keisha Lee because she would be the president of the governing council? Did you also want to get her input?
I sent it to her for Ledoux.
Okay.
But here's the thing, her dad was dying at that time, so I might need
You
to
can resend it.
That's what I'm saying, I might need to send it back.
Yep, we can resend it.
Okay, I got a copy. Hold on, y'all, hold on. What I wanted to say, Dr. Keenan, is that you pulled a thug tear out of my eye. And it was, oh, wait a minute, hold on, stop. Let me stop the recording.